Hello, Danvers and fellow YouTubers. I'm John Call, and I'm your host today for Community Connections One-on-One, where we interview nonprofits, local nonprofits that are making a difference in our community in an in-depth interview. And today I'm joined by Anna Mary Geist, who is the president of It's My Heart New England. Anna Mary, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. I know that this organization deals with congenital heart disease. You've been involved for a long time, but tell the rest of the world what's involved.
Sure. So we started in 2008. I took over the organization in 2010/2011 after my son Samuel was born with a congenital heart defect. I didn't know anybody with congenital heart defects when he was born, and I went to the Danvers Family Festival, and there was a table of It's My Heart New England, and I was like, what is this? Where did you come from, and how come I've never heard of you? It was their first time there, so I felt like it was all just intervention that I needed to be involved. So I took over the chapter. We were very small then. We're pretty large now. We service about 1,500 to 1,000 families each year. And by service, I'll tell you more about that in the programs that we do. But our mission is basically to educate, advocate, and support families affected by congenital heart defects. It's a non-medical group, so when they leave the hospital, we give them that support. And we say, you know, come and meet other families that have similar situations as you, that have walked your journey. Because you can have a child who's sick, and you have the support of your family, you have the support of your friends, but you don't always have the support of someone who's walked in your shoes. And so that's really the support that we provide, is to say, hey, we know what you're going through. We've been in the hospital like you have, and you will get through this, and we'll help you whatever you need, however you need, emotionally, physically, and those kind of things. So,
right.
Yeah.
And you say it's New England, so Maine to Connecticut?
Yes, yep. So we are structured in a way that I run the general organization. And then I have a great team of volunteers who help me throughout New England. So we have an area director in each of the states, and they run the local programs. So I'll run the main chapter programs, and if I can get to the local programs, I will, but it's kind of far to get to Connecticut sometimes, especially in the winter. So they'll run their own like smaller programs. And so it allows us to have a direct contact in each of the states, which is nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, talk to me about your programs and how you provide this support for the people that need it.
Yeah, definitely. So we are a volunteer-run organization, so everyone is volunteers, and all of our donations are what we use to fund all of our programs. So I'll talk a little bit more about our big fundraising initiative in a little bit, but I'll tell you about our programs first. So, and I wrote them down so I make sure I don't forget any of them.
Feel free to read your notes.
We're always adding things, so I'd never want to forget. So first and foremost, we have an awareness program. And so that's where we go out into the community, things like this, and also schools, sporting events, all kinds of things. And we just set up a table and spread awareness, because out of every 100 babies, one is affected by a congenital heart defect, which makes it the most widespread birth defect in the world. Only it's very, not well known, right? I wasn't young when I had my first kid, only I'd never heard of congenital heart defects before that.
Well, so let's stop there for a moment and talk about what is a congenital heart defect.
Yeah, good question. Probably a great place to start. So congenital heart defect is something wrong with the structure of your heart before you're born. So in Sam's case, for example, he's missing the left side of his heart. So he was born without the lower chamber and some missing pieces of the top chamber. So basically he was born with half a heart. You can be born with holes in your heart. There can be extra pieces, missing pieces, just anything structurally wrong that isn't like a typical normal
Valve
heart.
that doesn't close right or something,
Or that might be upside down, all kinds of, or the flap is moving upside down. Anything like that. And so some of them, some holes in hearts close without intervention. Other ones require multiple open heart surgeries and repairs. Congenital heart defects are never fully fixed. They're only repaired. And so they can't usually be fixed in utero too either. Some cases they can do some like in utero procedures where if a left side, for example, was growing but wasn't growing big enough, they can do some banding and maybe like force that to grow and create it, create the blood to push the way it needs to go with intervention in utero. And sometimes that can work, and which is really exciting. Not everyone qualifies for that though. and not all heart defects qualify for that. They can come alone, heart defects. They can also come with other syndromes. So Down syndrome kids, for example, often have heart defects. Sam has something called Kabuki syndrome in addition to his heart defect. There's lots of other syndromes that can also cause congenital heart defects.
And are these mostly detected in the womb?
That's a great question too. A lot of them are, because the technology has come so far. It has so far to go, but technology has come so far that they can detect a lot of congenital heart defects before birth, but some of them unfortunately don't get detected until after birth. So, 4 or 5 days after the baby is born, all of a sudden they're turning blue, they're not eating well, and then you find out, oh, it's really a congenital heart defect that is causing all of this. And then the technologies. So we live in Boston. It's really nice. We have a lot of access to good technology. We have great hospitals, good doctors. Everything is wonderful. But some of the more rural hospitals don't have that technology. And so even if they looked for a heart defect, they might not see it because they're not scanning the right way, or they don't have, the new innovative things that we have here in Boston to help. So it's a mix. I think about a third of congenital heart defects still go undiagnosed until after birth. And in the rare, and it's not as rare as you would think, but also heart defects can just go unknown for a really long time. So you'll see sometimes sports players just collapsing on the field. And more often than not, that's related to a congenital heart defect that they didn't know they had.
For years and years and years.
Yeah, yep.
That's amazing. Okay, so back to your organization and all the people involved in how they're helping you advocate, raise funds for, support.
Yep.
How's that all working?
So our program first was to advocate. That's where we go out to the community and we participate in things where we spread awareness. We also have a hospital program. So we have 2 parts of that hospital program. One is we support families while they're inpatient. So we'll bring them toiletry bags. The Danvers Kiwanis is amazing. Every February they create 20 to 25 toiletry bags for us that we then drop off at the local hospitals. Those ones particularly go to Children's Hospital in Boston. And so we'll give gift cards, parking passes, and things just to help families with their stay when you're in the hospital and you don't expect it, because you're one of those families that didn't find out about your heart defect until after birth. You're stuck in the hospital and you might not have the things that you need, and so we try to provide some of those things. We also have a family supporting families program where we actually sponsor a family having open heart surgery for 1 week. So we pay for their parking again, their food, meals, we give them gift cards. If they have siblings, we'll do some sibling packages and things like that. So that's our hospital program. We also have a monthly support program. And so that's where we take families and we do fun things every month. So we take them to the zoo, we take them apple picking, egg hunting. We just took 120 people to Jordan's Furniture in Avon and did ice skating. So Heart kids can't really be out in the freezing cold or like the scorching heat. So ice skating at Jordan's Furniture on synthetic ice is like always a fun. And they have like a small tubing hill inside as well, so that's really fun.
And they have that great play area too with all the candy around it, right when you first walk in too. I imagine that's a great place to be.
And we've done that, and that's the Jordans in Reading, and we have a sibling program. So we also have done the ropes course there with our siblings. So that's another event that we'll do. We have virtual game nights. We just did one of those last week. So we played Pictionary and bingo and categories for an hour and a half. And it's really fun. Families just chill out. And
they need the time. They need the break.
Yeah.
They need the goodness in their life.
Yeah.
Now, you'd mentioned Jordan's in particular, the ice skating and the event you just spoke about. Did they fund that? Are they a supporter of your program, or did you just happen to pick that because it's a good event and a good venue? Yeah,
good. We picked them because they're a good venue. They do help us out in, letting us buy our tickets all at once instead of having to buy them 5 at a time. But they're not a written-on supporter of our programs. We do have some places who do that for us, give us discounts because we're a nonprofit or because they have, a congenital heart defect story in their lives. For example, the Tugas Family Farm is owned by a congenital heart defect family. They do a very nice event for us in the fall, and they even did, so we've been doing apple picking with them for a few years, including during the pandemic. And something amazing they did was donated apples during the pandemic, and we shipped them to families so they could do like a virtual apple picking. And then we sent them recipes so that they could make apple crisp or apple pie or whatever. Yeah, so it was really fun. So they are great. They donated all those apples during COVID, which was so nice because we had like 40 families, which was really great. And they just they reserve us a place in the fall where we can sit with our families. They take us on like all together as a group out into the apple orchards, and like really good to us. So
that's nice.
Yeah.
So these are a lot of extensive involvement, I guess is the word I'm looking for, that it's not as simple as, yeah, we'll send you a brochure, or yeah, we'll send you a gift bag, or yeah, we'll do this or that. To take 120 kids on an outing is a very extensive program.
Yeah.
How logistically can you manage all of that, given that you have a full-time job, I'm assuming, as well as raising 3 children? So how are you making it all happen?
Yeah, the kids and the families are what makes it happen for me, right? You think, how do you make that happen? It's not really me doing it. They give you, I don't know how to explain it to someone who hasn't experienced it before, but like, you just get so much out of it by doing, right? So I swear I could have 27 meetings a day and lots of things to do for my kids, and I would still find time to figure out an It's My Heart event. Because just seeing the kids participate, and the monthly events we do are when the kids are pretty healthy, right? So they're not generally sick during those events, and just seeing how happy they are to be together and be doing something normal. And we do all these events free of charge to families, because we know that while you're in the hospital, you know, you don't always have time to go to Storyland or to go apple picking or to do some of these things that cost money when you have a few kids and you have a lot of medical bills coming in and things like that. And so I think the energy just comes from doing the events and then participating and then seeing families see each other time after time and make those connections. It's so nice. I do have a really incredible set of core volunteers that also help out. So that helps out a lot. You know, we have a monthly newsletter that we create, and that's honestly where most of our events come from, because as we're putting that newsletter together, we're like, oh, we don't have anything in the upcoming events. What should we do? We've got a few core events that we love to do each year, like that. I keep referring to apple picking and egg hunt. We go to the zoo every year. We do Storyland every year. If those activities work for families and they really love them, we'll keep them on year after year. But we're always trying to find something new. So we're doing axe throwing next Friday.
Wow.
For the adults, and then bowling for the kids at the same time. So
nice.
It's really nice.
So you referred to them as extended families, and how many families are in your group, are in your families?
Yeah, it's a really good question and a very hard question to answer. So I can start by, we have a monthly newsletter that we send out to 500 families. But we also post it, and many other families just open it and read it. Families come and go in our organization, because if you're a family who has a child with a congenital heart defect that needs one surgery and then pretty much they're repaired for life, those families might not be as involved as a family who has long-term care. I mean, all congenital heart defects families have some form of long-term care. But kids who are repeatedly in the hospital, repeatedly having surgeries or procedures, those are the families that we see time after time. So it's hard to like put a number around how many families, but we estimate about like 500 to 1,000 families. And some of them, like I said, they float in and out as they need us. Yeah. Or some families will have one surgery when their child is young, if it's for a valve, for example, and then they might not need that valve replaced for 10 or 15 more years. So we'll see them again, like in a few. Yeah, exactly.
So you had mentioned some syndromes that not go along with it, but that may occur at the same time or because of it or whatever. So in my mind, I see that as an offshoot, a branch. You're now, was it Kabuki?
Yeah.
Is that what? So now you're involved in the Kabuki syndrome camp as well, you know. And then some other one that you mentioned, you're involved in that camp too. So how does that affect what you're trying to do on a regular basis?
that these other things pop up, and now there's things going on for that you want to be aware of and involved in because of Sam, but also because they're going to support other families who have a congenital heart defect.
Yeah, social media. Sometimes it's really hard, but thankfully, like for Down syndrome, Sam plays on the basketball team of the people who run like the Massachusetts Down syndrome group, and so that's an easy way to stay connected. We try to invite them to our events, they invite us to their events, and we just try to cross over as much as we can. We spread awareness for their initiatives, they do it for us. You know, when they're having Awareness Week, we'll spread their stuff, and we have Congenital Heart Defect Awareness Week at the beginning of February, so, or the 7th to the 14th, and so we will hopefully share things on our social media pages that they then share out to their groups, and we invite them to participate as much as they can, but also share the invites and share like the registration links and things like that with their families too.
Do they have a tab on your website?
They do not have a tab on our website.
Let's get a tab on the website, come on. Don't you work for a technology company? No, so I think that would be a great opportunity. Just let them have their own page under a tab, and they can post stuff or send you to post stuff or whatever, and help spread the word.
Yeah.
So you talked about upcoming events. I know February 7th to the 14th is Congenital Heart Defect Week. Right?
Yes.
Did I say that right? And you usually do a walk in June, correct? And, and you have blood drives. I'm guessing every 8 weeks, or so it seems. I'm always just off a little bit and can't make it. But what else do you have going on? And give specific dates.
Sure. So in February 7th to 14th is Congenital Heart Defect Awareness Week. So we have a lot of things going on that week. We'll start with the Kiwanis activity where we make the bags for the hospital. Then we'll drop those off at the hospital, and we'll provide a treat cart for the families on the inpatient floor at Boston Children's, which is really nice. There'll be heart-shaped cookies or something. I leave it up to the resource person to pick what's best for the families. And then we have a Texas Roadhouse fundraiser. That's on February 7th. So if you're looking for somewhere to eat, go to Texas Roadhouse on the 7th and tell them you're part of the It's My Heart fundraiser, and we'll get donations from that.
That's a wonderful opportunity. It really is, because you get to get good food and a dinner out, and a portion of what you spend, right, goes back to you. So it's from Texas Roadhouse who's doing that, but it works out great for everybody involved. So
yeah, and you can meet Sam because he'll be at the front door selling you raffle tickets for a few raffle prizes that we have, and you won't get away without buying them. He's amazing.
Everybody loves Sam.
It's his thing, connecting people, which is also a reason that we have such a passion for this, is because Sam is not the only one that's so magnetic and so amazing. All of these kids are so amazing, and so you want to connect with them all and keep them all in your circle.
So I interrupted your events. Keep going.
So then we are going to do some school outreach. So on the 12th, I will go to the Triton Regional Middle School and do Heart Week lessons. So I'll do heart lessons where I'll teach the kids about a normal heart, I'll teach them about a congenital heart defect, and then we'll just go through some stories together. We'll also do that in Danvers, but that's not during Heart Week. It'll be a little bit later this year, I think sometime in March. So if you're at the high school, you can see that. It'll be in Assembly. And then we have our Heart Social, which is our big get-together for families, and that is on February 15th. And so families just get together, we play games, we have waffle bar. So we have waffles with all the toppings, and it's so much fun. I love
waffles.
So we're looking for volunteers.
There we go. I won't be here, but I would have volunteered for that.
So we're always looking for volunteers. They're also what fuel all of our activities, because we can't, like I said, I can't be everywhere all the time. And so we have our area representatives, but we also have other volunteers. And I love volunteers who just want to do one thing. That is fine, because I'll give you your one thing, and then you can do that. And I know you'll do it if you only have one thing to do,
exactly,
right?
It's not a lifelong commitment.
Exactly.
It's an event, right?
Yeah, and we use local schools. So high school seniors, and before graduating, most high schools students need to have some kind of community service hours. And so we are always able to provide those for any type of person. So there are some kids who don't want to come to an event live, You know, they want to do something offline in the middle of the night, whenever they want to. So we have offline opportunities. We have, which could be like helping us make lists of new doctors to send brochures to, or like new cardiologists or something like that. Update our lists, update our databases. There's always those kind of things. You can come in person, so you can help those kids do that ice skating. You can help them do bowling next week. We have, like you said, a big walk. It's June 29th at Danvers High School. And this will be our 15th walk, which is really exciting. So we had 32 people walking in our first walk, and we expect 1,000 or more this year. So
That's awesome.
yeah, it's pretty nice. So
Good on you, Danvers.
yeah, it's pretty hot, usually, historically, but it's really fun. And it's a walk and family picnic. So we do the walk, which is just around the perimeter of the high school, and then we meet at the soccer fields, and we have snow cones and cotton candy, lunch. We have curious creatures. We had a petting zoo last year. We have balloon animals, face painting, all kinds of good stuff. So always looking for help for that, because it's a long day and there's lots to do.
I'll bet.
So,
It used to be during Family Festival.
Yeah.
When we had Family Festival, and I remember that the picnic used to be at Endicott Park, and that was great. You had a
Yeah.
lot of people there doing a lot of things, which is always good.
Yeah.
Do you have a volunteer tab on your website?
yes.
So people can
Few.
good. Got that one. So people can go right to the website and sign up there, or just volunteer your time in general, and Anna Mary will contact you and say, what would you like to be involved in?
Yeah.
So there's lots of opportunities to help you out.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a moment
Sure.
and give you some information, Danvers.
While
because
he's
I was
looking
shocked.
for that,
Hmm?
I said while he's looking for that, the volunteer on our website is under the programs tab, and we try to keep it updated regularly for all the things you can help us out with.
Excellent. Okay, so this is some did you know information off of Anna Mary's website, and it shocked me when I read it, so I want to read it to you. Nearly 1 out of every 100 babies in the U.S. is born with a congenital heart defect. That's 1 every 15 minutes. Each year, 40,000 babies in the U.S. are born with a congenital heart defect. CHD, congenital heart defect, occurs early in fetal development, often before mom even knows she's pregnant. There are over 40 defined congenital heart defects. None have a cure. Congenital heart defects are never cured. They can only be repaired, as Anna Mary had mentioned, and often more than once. This year, over 100,000 babies worldwide will not live to celebrate their first birthday as a result of a congenital heart defect. It's just some of the information that's on their website that was news to me, because I'm not aware of that, or aware of CHD in general. But when you look at this information, you see how important it is to support It's My Heart New England in what they're trying to do. They're not paying for the operations. They're not dealing with what's going on in the hospital. They're dealing with the families after the fact, and trying to support them for as long as they need supported. As Anna Mary mentioned, some of these people, it happens to infants, but then other people don't realize it until later in life, when they're a teenager or when they're an adult, and a problem just manifests itself. But at whatever stage of life they're at, if they need support and help, this is an organization that's going to provide it to them. So any help you can give them would be awesome.
Yeah, thanks so much. And I can just let you know about a couple more of our programs that you support. So like I said, we are a volunteer-run organization, and also run purely on donations from the community and from our families. So this year, I'll just run through a couple of things, because I just did the 2024 wrap-up, so very timely, or a couple months ago. But we have a birthday card program where we send birthday cards to siblings as well as to Heart Heroes. So we sent 300 Heart Hero birthday cards and 400 sibling birthday cards this year. So we have 3 coordinators who take care of that program, and God love them, they're amazing. We hosted several awareness tables. We welcomed 800 people at our annual walk, including 60 Heart Heroes and 98 Heart Angels. So Heart Angels are really an important part of our group as well, because those are kids who didn't make it through their CHD journey, right? But even though they didn't make it, they still give the rest of us hope. They give us treatments, they give us information, and they're so vital to our mission as well, because they stand resilient and they show families that, not every situation is perfect, not every journey is going to turn out okay, but we can still stand together as a community. And so we make sure that we always spend time. We welcome all angel families at all of our events, and they come, which is so nice. We try to make them feel as welcome as we can. We make sure that during our walk we celebrate them. We have a separate angel ceremony where we'll either release butterflies, local ones, and or have singers or other things. We also have this beautiful, what we call a butterfly garden. So the pictures of all the angels are attached to these signs that are in the shape of butterflies, and it's just a really nice just thing that we do.
Certainly,
And like it's really great. So one of my favorite parts of our programming is for our angel families. We have that Family Supporting Families program. We also have a Friendship Friday program where the first Friday of every month we send our families a code for Dunkin' Donuts, and they can go and buy themselves coffee or donuts or
nice.
something like that. So when I forget to reload the card, everyone lets me know. It's quick, but it's really nice. And we have our hospital programs, our monthly support programs, and then we have a scholarship program. So we do 4 $1,500 scholarships, between 4 and 5 each year. And that is for seniors in high school going to college, or current college students or trade school students. And the qualifications for it aren't that you are a congenital heart defect patient yourself. You just need to have connection to a heart defect patient and live out the mission of It's My Heart. So volunteering for It's My Heart for several years can qualify you to apply for our scholarship. So.
Now, how does the scholarship work, given that you're all of New England? How do people apply for this? Do they have to be going to a college in New England? Do they have to be going to a 4-year college? Kind of what are the basic ballpark parameters?
Yeah, great question. They do not have to go to a 4-year college. They can do a 2-year college, a 4-year college, or a technical school. They do have to live in New England and be connected to a congenital heart defect, have some story of inspiration in their lives, and also it could be a volunteering story. So we just released all of the information for our 2025 scholarship, so that's on the front of our website right now with the requirements. You can apply every 2 years as well, so you could potentially get it twice while you're in college.
Oh, good.
Once when you're starting and once when you're a sophomore, end of your sophomore year. So that information is all out. The applications are due on March 26th of 2025, and then we award those at our walk on June 29th. So
Great,
yeah,
beautiful.
really
And
nice.
can you give us your website, please?
Yes, our website is www.itsmyheartnewengland.org, all one word. So, and you can find us on social media. We're mostly on Facebook and Instagram. And we post pictures of all of our events and what we're doing after the fact, before the fact, during the fact.
And if you get a
nice.
chance to donate blood, if you're a blood donor,
Yes.
I think I've given 11 gallons so far, but I've been donating since I was 18. And but I'm a double red, so I give 2 pints every 16 weeks, and it seems like I'm never able. I'm just like 2 weeks shy of Sam's blood drive, and can't give. I've given a couple of times at his blood drive, but do that as well. If you're a blood donor, it's a great organization to donate your blood to. And the last one you did, how many pints did you collect?
We collected nearly 60. I think it was 55. Yeah.
Great.
So the next one in Danvers is for Sam that we're helping with is September 7th, a Saturday, at the Danvers YMCA. So I think you can actually type Sam in the search field at theredcrossblood.org, and you can find the drive
There
already.
you go.
So
Everybody knows
start
Sam.
early. We got
anything
early
else?
on that search term.
Anything else we need to tell Danvers about?
I'm going to look at my list real quick to make sure I covered everything. I think I did, except for that we do have a sibling program. I mentioned it lightly, but we do a quarterly sibling program, so we don't forget about the siblings, because a lot of the times in this journey, the heart patient is the one that gets all of the attention, and sometimes that's necessary, right? But we like to especially do things for siblings. So we have a quarterly sibling Sundays, and that's when we do our crazy events where, heart kids don't always love to be high or cold or hot and things like that. So
Gotcha.
we save those for our sibling events.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Anna Mary.
Thank you.
You do a wonderful, wonderful job for us, not for us, for your community,
Yeah.
for all of New England, for the patients that you're helping.
And I appreciate you being on the show today. I appreciate you filling us in on all this important information. And Danvers, if you can help in any way, shape, or form, please do. It's a great organization, and they can use all the help they can get. So.
Yeah, and I especially want to thank the Danvers community, because this is where our home base is, and we get so much support from the community. You know, from DCAT to Texas Roadhouse, just everywhere. It seems the Kiwanis, if we ask for something, someone is wanting to help us out, and so that's really so important, because it helps our dollars stretch longer. It helps us do more because we have more volunteers. It just helps us go further in so many ways and be lean, and it's just amazing. So I thank the community for that, because I don't think we'd be as big or as successful as we are without the Danvers community. So
excellent.
Yeah.
Glad to hear you say that, because Danvers is a great community. Yeah. Proud to be a member of it.
Yeah.
Anna Mary, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you.
And have a great month.
You too.
So that's it, Danvers. Tune in again next month for a new Community Connection one-on-one. And until then, have a great month.